So, Merry Christmas, everyone. This week in the Sacred Gathering, I think after just the busyness that is going on with so many people's lives, we'll be having a table discussion, kind of going into the new year, just reminding ourselves of God's goodness, some of our callings, and what we are called into as disciples of Christ. So, as always, when we're having a table discussion, this recording will mostly be me just kind of reading the quotes we'll be looking at, asking the questions for your reflection. But of course, the main event is all of us being together on Sunday and what we discuss. So we will start out with a quote out of Mark chapter 14, which has to do with worship. It was 2 days before the Passover and the festival of the unleavened bread. The chief priests and legal experts, through cunning tricks, were searching for a way to arrest Jesus and kill him. But they agreed it shouldn't happen during the festival, otherwise there would be an uproar among the people. Jesus was at Bethany visiting the house of Simon, who had a skin disease. During dinner, a woman came in with a vase made of alabaster and containing some very expensive perfume of pure nard. She broke open the vase and poured the perfume on his head. Some grew angry. They said to each other, "Why waste this perfume? This perfume could have been sold for almost a year's pay and the money given to the poor." And they scolded her. But Jesus said, "Leave her alone. Why do you make trouble for her? She has done a good thing for me. You will always have the poor with you, and whenever you want, you can do something good for them. But you won't always have me. She has done what she could. She has anointed my body ahead of time for burial. I tell you the truth that wherever the whole world the gospel is announced, what she's done will also be told in memory of her." Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests to give Jesus up to them, and when they heard it, they were delighted and promised to give him money. So he started looking for an opportunity to turn him in. So my questions based on this section are, what is the attitude of this woman's heart? Why does she do this act? Do you think she understood this use of perfume the same way Jesus did? Why or why not? What can we learn from this woman, especially at this time of year? And what does it look like for us to do what we can, to quote it? Now contrast her heart with those who grew angry. What do they lack? Do you think this contributed to Judas's decision to betray Jesus, and in what ways? And then I wanted to offer a couple of quotes which I think show two very important pieces of just kind of our discipleship coming out of this. The first is from Dallas Willard's The Divine Conspiracy. To Jesus' eyes, this is a God-bathed and God-permeated world. It is a world filled with glorious reality, where every component is within the range of God's direct knowledge and control, though he obviously permits some of it, for good reasons, to be for a while otherwise than he wished. It is a world that is inconceivably beautiful and good because of the God and because God is always in it. It is a world in which God is continually at play, and over which he constantly rejoices, until our thoughts of God have found every visible thing and event glorious with his presence. The word of Jesus has not yet fully seized us. And then a quote from Alan Hirsch's The Forgotten Ways. The early church refused the claim of the overlordship of Caesar. They refused to see Jesus as a mere part of the pantheon of the gods of Rome. In fact, the confession, "Jesus is Lord," became in their mouths, and in this context, a deeply subversive claim that effectively undermined the rule of Caesar. The Christians wanted to bring all of life under the lordship of Jesus, and that meant subverting the lordship of Caesar. The emperors stood this all too clearly, hence the terrible persecutions that followed. But the point is that our spiritual forebears really understood the inner meaning of monotheism here. They knew Jesus was Lord, and that his lordship effectively excluded all other claims of ultimate loyalty. This clash of supreme governments is the source of spiritual conflict, and the Christians were willing to die rather than deny their essential affirmation. Herein lies the heart of the Christian confession. So what is the relationship between Seeing the World as God-Bathed in Willard, and the deeply subversive claim that Jesus is Lord from Hirsch. How do you think the attitude of heart demonstrated by the woman in the Mark story connects to these two quotes? How do we become people who more deeply believe and experience this reality? And what does this look like for you practically? What is God saying to you in this discussion? And what are you going to do about it? So again, I look forward to having this conversation, discussing these questions and these quotes with all of you on Sunday.